Okay, we are going to continue working on the handout that I hope you've printed out. We started part of this on the last session. On the next part of that, we're going to look at how we find the slope in various ways. One of those, if we're given a graph, and I've chosen 2 points where this line hits exactly at a crosshair, at a grid point, so that we can tell exactly what the coordinates are. And what you want to do to find the slope is to count. So I'm going to put my pen here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I went up 7, so that's a positive 7. Now I'm going to go across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went to the right, so that's a positive 5. My slope is the change in y over the change in x. You've heard it called rise over run. So the slope of this line is 7/5. Rise over run. Alright, on this one, if I start at this point and come down, that's a -2 because I'm coming down. Then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, and that's to the right, so that's positive. So this one, the change in y over the change in x, makes the slope -2/3. Now, you could have started here and gone up and to the left, and that would have been a +2 and a -3, but the overall result would still be -2/3. The same thing back over here. If you had started here and come down and then to the left, they would have both been negative, so when you divided, you would still get the positive. So that's how you find the slope when you're given the graph. Now, to find the slope given 2 points, we use the formula. We use m to represent the slope, and it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to subtract the y coordinates and subtract the x coordinates, and that's going to give us the slope of the line. Now, you remember that the slope of the line talks about the inclination, how steep it is or how flat it is. So let's just say we were given the point 7, -4, and -3, 2, and we wanted to find the slope of that line. We would go y minus y, so that's 2 minus -4, over x minus x, -3 minus 7. So 2 minus a -4, that's negative makes it a positive, so that's going to be 6. And -3 minus 7 is a -10. And we know that 2 will divide into both of those, and so we get -3/5. We can just take that negative and move it out in front of the fraction. So that's our method for finding the slope given 2 points. Y minus y over x minus x. Alright, on the next page of the handout are some reminders that I want to give you about things that you should just know. If slope is positive, the line is going to be going up as you look at it from left to right. If a slope is negative, the line's going to be coming down as you look at it from left to right. If the slope is 0, it's going to be a horizontal line, and if it's undefined or no slope, it's going to be a vertical line. So 2 other things that I need you to write down about these. If the slope is 0 and it's a horizontal line, the equation is going to be y equals some number. Y equals 3, y equals -10, y equals 8, y equals -2. Anything that's y equals a number, that's going to have a 0 slope and be a horizontal line. Anything that has no slope or undefined is going to be a vertical line, and its equation is going to be x equals a number. x equals 6, x equals -8. All of those will be vertical lines. Now, in the next part is how to graph a line using the x and y intercept. We've already talked about that in the previous section. You find the x-intercept and mark it, you find the y-intercept, mark it, and you draw the line. Also, we have table of values. We've talked about that on the first page. So we know how to do that, make a table of values, and plot the points. Alright, so that brings us down to how do we draw the graph if we're given a slope and a y-intercept. Let's say that we're given the slope is 2/5 and that the y-intercept is the point 0, 3. Alright, so what we'll do is to mark the point 0, 3 on our graph, 1, 2, 3, and the top number tells you how much to go up or down. The bottom number tells you how much to go left or right, because that's the change in y over the change in x. So we're going to go up 2 and over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put a point. Notice that I don't put another point until I've done both movements, up 2 and over 5, before I mark the point. Then we draw the line. Well, this matches what we know. We had a positive slope and my line's going up, so that's a good thing. Alright, suppose we had that the slope is -1/4, and instead of the y-intercept we're given a point, -2, 6. Okay, so you do the same thing, it's just the point's not on the y-axis. So -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my point. And from there, I do my slope. So since it's negative, that'll be coming down, and I'll still go to the right. So I'm going to come down 1 and right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when I connect that line, it matches what I think because it has a negative slope and it's coming down as I go from left to right. Okay? Alright, on the next page is the point slope form. This is a formula that we'll use when we need to find the equation of a line. And it is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to highlight this x and this y and this m, because those are the things that you'll fill in order to find the equation of the line. This x and this y stay there to be the x and the y in the equation. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. That's an x. And if you happen to be given the slope and the y-intercept, then you can just fill those in and have the equation of the line. It's called general form, it's called standard form. It looks like this: ax plus by equals c. The point is that a, b, and c are integers. That means they're not fractions. We can't go directly from given information to the general form, but we can take this form and work it out to get to the general form, and we'll look at that a little bit later. Alright, we also need to know how to change from one form to another. So let's say you were given something, y equals 2/3 x plus 10. Well, that's in slope-intercept form. And suppose you were asked to put that in standard form. Well, the first thing you would do is multiply by 3 to get rid of the fractions. So 3y equals 2x plus 30. Multiplying every term by 3. Now, to be in standard form, you got to have the x term, the y term, and then the constant. So I'm going to subtract this 2x to move it over here to make the alignment be what I need it to be for a standard form. So this would be the equation in standard form where I was given it in slope-intercept. Now, suppose you're given it in standard. 5x minus 7y equals 15. Well, to get the standard, that is standard. To get the slope-intercept, you've got to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract the 5x, and I'm going to put it first before the 15 because my slope-intercept form is y equals mx. I want my x term first in order for it to be in slope-intercept. Then I'm going to divide everything by -7, and I'll get y equals negative divided by negative is positive, and 15 divided by -7 is negative 15 over 7. So that's how you go from standard to y-intercept. Alright, that's all on the handout that we're going to need, I think, for this group of exercises. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to the book, and I'm on page 180, and I'm down here at problem number 17. And the directions say to plot the points and determine the slope and graph the line. Well, I have some choices here.